Like, there is no way you are more mad at rappers for performing at these inauguration events than you are at the elected officials who told us Trump was a fascist, a threat to democracy, a danger to our country and the Constitution. They likened him to Hitler, but then folks like Biden just welcomed him back in the White House. Obama was sharing a good laugh with him at the funeral of President Carter. We know why the rappers, did what they did. We know why they doing it. They got paid. What's the politician's excuse for normalizing Trump?
Oh, when I said that on Twitter over the weekend, I'm still getting dragged. They said because Obama has to do that as a politician.
He doesn't have to do it. Trump didn't do it 4 years ago.
Exactly. Trump said the election.
Okay, let's bring it down.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, consistency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Also, y'all, if I sound a little different, it's because my body has been fighting off germs for the last 24 hours. I hope that is nothing serious, but other than that, I'm doing fine, taking every day one day at a time and living life the best way I know how, and I hope the same for you all as well. I wanted to play that clip of Charlamagne the God to provide some context, especially after the previous video I did talking about Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Nelly, and Soulja Boy performing at Trump-related events this week. I said before that Charlamagne the God and even Stephen A. Smith to a certain degree sure bring that verbal fire and smoke for the Democrats, but have little to nothing to say about Republican efforts. And once again, I have to come with this all too familiar explanation, something that I said in the previous video and something that I said in other videos. The Democratic Party is closely associated with the black community, right? So whatever the Democrats do or don't do, there's going to be some consequences, okay? If the Democrats do good and follow up on what they're supposed to do, you're going to get talked about. And if you do the complete opposite, you're going to get talked about. But the main points that I be trying to make is that all parties should be doing something. It shouldn't just be all on the Democrats to do everything. In this case, when it comes to the black community, the Democrats should do more. Even as a Democrat myself, I say that. The Democrats should do more, the Republicans should do more, and the independents should do more. It shouldn't be up to just one party. And I'm going to continue saying that even when my political career gets started. And hopefully by the time my political career gets started, I wouldn't have to say that. But as usual, we shall see. Before I proceed with this reaction video, and shout out to Clay Kane and Mrs. Reese Colbert, I want to present 3 hypothetical yet reality-based questions and answers showing how Democrats and Republicans respond and how we as black people tend to respond as guests, and see if you notice a trend here. And I actually did write these down, y'all. First question, what's your plan for black America? The Democratic representative would likely give a detailed answer. The person or the people listening, in this case the guests, us, we're hearing it, but we're immediately skeptical, either because we've heard it all before, it's not said in terms that we can understand, or a little bit of both, right? The Republican representative would not answer the question. Instead, he or she would deflect and talk about other non-related things, but the guests would then give them the benefit of the doubt and do whatever it is to obtain a seat at the table, the red Republican table. All right, follow me here. Question number 2. Do you believe in reparations? The Democratic representative will answer the question, but sometimes will probably stop short of giving a time frame for legislation, and I'm going to come back to that part too. The guests will consider this unacceptable and go an above and beyond, telling any and everyone who would listen that they're not voting until they get reparations. You shouldn't vote either, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all before. We've heard it everywhere. The GOP representative wouldn't give a clear answer and again would deflect and talk about other unrelated things, but the guests won't offer any follow-up questions, only concluding that both parties are the same. You see where I'm going here? Now, sticking with the reparations part, do I believe in reparations? Yes. Do I believe that we as a people should get reparations? Yes. The thing is, you have to have a House of Representatives, the numbers to pretty much get that bill passed so it can go to the Senate. You just can't muscle a bill to the Senate. And also the House, that's where the financial stuff takes place at. So you got to have people in place that believes in that so it can go anywhere, because if the House is in Republican hands, it's not going anywhere. And it's definitely not going to go anywhere if the Senate is in Republican hands. So pretty much you're stuck. So like I said, you have to have the numbers to even get that to the floor for a vote and debate, etc., etc. Now, the president can take some bold measures and he or she could sign it by way of executive order, but then that's not going to be good, because the moment that he or she does that, it's going to be tied up in the courts for months until it gets all the way to the Supreme Court. And then with that conservative majority in this court, if they strike it down, then what? You know who's going to catch all the hell for that, right? It's going to be the Democrats. And y'all going to hear it. Well, they should have did this sooner. They should have did this. They should have did that. And then the whole thing is going to start up again. See, that's why I'm not voting. That's why you shouldn't vote, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all before. And that's the point here. And speaking of points, that brings me to the last question. What will you do to address the concerns of black men? The Democratic representative will answer the question in a way that makes it clear that he or she is going to earn the votes of black men, as well as talking directly about how they would address the issues. The guest will likely dismiss this as not being good enough, right? The Republican representative, just like the other two questions, won't give a clear answer. They're going to deflect and talk about other unrelated things, and whatever smoke this Republican representative should get for not answering the questions will be non-existent. You see the pattern here? The Democrats will at least take the time to address the issues, but the Republicans ain't going to say anything. When it comes to that, you notice how when that question gets answered, the Republicans usually don't have an answer for it, because they don't have an answer. I mean, it's just as simple as that. That's why most of the time when they get a question like that, they don't have anything resembling the answer. And it's obvious why. Anybody can see that. But then when you come to questions like this and when you come to the responses, then you have some people who's on YouTube, and I won't call any names. The first thing that they want to do is say the Democrats are pandering when it comes to the black community. But when the Republicans are blatantly pandering and doing any and everything, and I do mean any and everything to get the black vote, you don't want to call them out, but you want to call the Democrats out when it's clear to everybody looking who is sincere and who isn't. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day, y'all. So I just wanted to get the video started with that. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and continue with Mrs. Colbert and Clay Kane for this reaction video. Let's go ahead and get to it.
What a bizarre false equivalency to one rapper like Snoop Dogg, who went off in 2017 and called people, was it jigaboos, for not voting for going to perform for Donald Trump. You have two former presidents who I believe are doing their duty as the peaceful transfer of power. They're not going to be trifling and disrespectful and as Trump is, because they're not imbeciles.
Yeah.
And let me stop right there. They're speaking facts earlier, but I want to address that too. So, yes, I did see the clips and I heard about Obama and Trump having a little laugh or whatever at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Now, we're not privy to what they talked about. And to piggyback on that just for a brief moment, Obama really shouldn't have anything to say to Trump, and it's obvious why. But we all know what type of person Obama is. Obama is going to be the same classy and professional dude that he's always been. He's not going to just straight up be a jerk to Trump. And besides, if Obama did flip the script and treated Trump like that, you know that would be all on the news the next day, right? Or really the same day. It'll be a whole damn news story about, did you see how Obama acted? Did you see how he acted towards Trump? Did you see how he did this or how he did that? You see, the bar is always high for the Democrat, but the bar is always low for the Republican. I digress. But again, we're not privy to what the conversation was. The way I look at it is, yes, Obama is still going to be himself and not delve into anything that's going to make him look bad. That's the way that I see it. So I don't really have an issue with him being social because that's who he is. Me personally, I wouldn't have anything to say to Trump. I'm not even sure how I would react in a similar situation other than the request that I be sat somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue with this video, y'all.
Not babies. I mean, Michelle Obama, I'm all for it. She don't have to be there.
Right.
She's a private citizen. She don't have to
be there.
Karen Pence wasn't there either. But, I was saying this, and folks may not agree. I mean, I almost feel like, I think it's important that Barack Obama's presence was there. Like, listen, I'm here. I'm still a former president. I'm going to be at every inauguration. That don't mean that I co-sign you. That don't mean that I believe in your policies. But I'm still going to be here. I'm a part of this history. I'm a part of this legacy. The only reason why you're there is because of me, because of this quote unquote Blacklash, right? You got a political career because of me. You went on a 5-year rant that I wasn't born in this country. I'm going to be there.
And that's a damn good point. And I said this in previous videos too. Trump should thank Obama because on one end, had it not been for Obama, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now. And what I mean by that is in 2013 at that White House Correspondents' Dinner, when Obama rightly clapped back at Trump for all of the stuff that he was already saying at that point, that's when Trump decided to run for president in 2016. That's when he made that decision right there, because he was filming, he was acting like a child, pouty mouth. But then again, that's this whole arrogance thing. I can say whatever it is about you and question your integrity, but you can't clap back towards me. You can't say nothing about me. That's that whole ordeal. And if that's your way of thinking, you're out of touch with reality. But that's always been the case with Donald Trump, right? Let's continue on, y'all.
If he didn't, I'd be okay with that too. But I'm not going to attack him, compare him to a rapper who went on stage singing songs that have the N-word on it, and the crowd was just so happy to sing along.
Yeah.
Really, Charlamagne? Like, my God. For real? Go ahead, Reese.
Charlamagne is full of shit. And this is why nobody should ever call him a political maverick again. Because he's very comfortable. He's so mavericky when it comes to criticizing the Democrats. But when it comes time to criticize tip drills for Trump, now all of a sudden, he ain't got the same motherfucking energy. Oh,
that is my point right there. And considering that Trump is back in office, it's going to be even less smoke for the Republicans, and they're going to still have that same smoke for the Democrats. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, Reese is 100% right here. The smoke for the Democrats, but none for the Republicans. And you have to wonder why that is. And now when I think about it, I wonder what Charlamagne thought about the Trump administration using his likeness in one of their political ads in the last election. And I think that there was a cease and desist thing, but the Trump campaign just pretty much ignored it. I'm not sure what happened after that, but you have to wonder what he thought about that. But yeah, again, smoke for the Democrats, none for the Republicans. All the same.
Oh, well, what's the big deal? You know what the goddamn big deal is. First of all, President Obama and President Biden campaigned against Donald Trump 3 campaign cycles. They told y'all this motherfucker is a problem. 2 of those campaign cycles, y'all gave them your ass to kiss. One time you listened because we're in a fucking pandemic and people were dropping like flies. He was like, oh, okay, maybe Trump is a problem. And then everybody got fucking collective amnesia like the goddamn Men in Black. So there's no equivalence between 2 presidents, one at the time being, in 2 of those elections, he was the vice president, former vice president. There's no equivalence between people who campaigned round the clock, 3 election cycles in a row. Oh, by the way, also campaigned during the midterms to win back the House, win back the Senate. And who every step of the way warned you guys about the dangers and were 100% correct, by the way, not 20% correct, not 10% correct, not 5% correct, 100% correct on all the things that they warned about. And everybody said, fuck all that, we want Trump back. Not everybody, but enough people to win a goddamn electoral college and
the people who voted.
Period.
Yeah.
And people who was like, well, I ain't gonna vote because I don't really care who wins. So there's no equivalence between that and people who saw what has transpired over the past 8 years and what Donald Trump was promising. Let's say maybe your ass, your head was in the sand during a campaign, but you could not get away from Trump and what he was talking about after he won. It was everywhere. You would have thought Trump was already goddamn president. To disregard all of that and then the gaslight, like Nelly Tip Drill did, well, somebody showed me evidence of him being a white supremacist. Very next fucking day, Elon Musk throwing up goddamn Nazi symbols.
That's a good ass point. Nelly, Soulja Boy, Snoop, and Rick Ross. I wonder what they think about Elon Musk and the Nazi symbol. You have to wonder what they think about that, as well as Stephen A. Smith and Charlamagne the God. I guess that doesn't matter as long as you're getting paid, right? We can just smooth that over like it's nothing. But the Democrat act out of character. Well, we know what the response would be now, don't we? You just have to wonder what they think about that, because it was no mistake what Elon Musk did. It was clear and it was blatant and it was out there for the world to see. And if anybody is trying to downplay that and make it seem like it's something else or he's awkward or whatever the excuse is at that point, I don't know what else to tell you, man. I don't.
At the Trump parade. Oh, okay. You need more evidence than that? Okay.
For folks who may not know, Tip Drill is a popular song by Nelly that had a really, really controversial video that got him some backlash when he did a fundraising event at Spelman College. Folks may not know that reference. Go ahead.
Yeah, I might be too young for that. It was the BET Uncut videos. Credit card sliding down the ass crack. These men open up their ass cheek, says swipe away, tip drill. I'm a tip drill.
And just to add something to that, I do remember the tip drill video. I seen it a couple of times, and that credit card swipe down the girl's butt, yeah, that was controversial at the time. And let's keep it real. Will we see something like that today, or will we have seen something like that within the last 5 or 10 years? Definitely. And probably even on a more wider scale than that. But at the time, that was a big controversy. And so much so that Nelly was, let's just say that Nelly at the time was academically canceled. And I think it was not too long after that when his sister passed away, which at the time when I heard that, it was a sad thing, because even with the controversy that was going on, he was still trying to do a little bit of organizing for himself, but they weren't having it. And then, like I said, unfortunately, not too long afterwards, his sister passed. And he was upset about that at the time, and rightfully so. And I'm pretty sure he still feels a certain way about that now. But I just wanted to step in and say that.
Trump. Okay, that's your prerogative to do. And it's our prerogative to have a motherfucking opinion. President Obama was seated next to Donald Trump at a funeral. He wasn't out pop blocking and dropping it like a shake a tail feather, drop down and get your eagle on. And a motherfucking inaugural.
You made an Ike and Tina reference, shake a tail feather.
I'm just saying, he was I think Nelly got a shake a tail feather song too.
Oh, he does. Okay.
He wasn't dropping down, get his fucking eagle on with goddamn Donald Trump at a goddamn inaugural ball. He was sitting next to Donald Trump at a funeral, not being an asshole. Good for him. And when you become the president of the United States, there are certain there's a pageantry to it. And you can certainly debate about whether that pageantry is appropriate for a fucking degenerate like Trump, but you cannot debate that he was elected president. And so these people participated in the traditional pageantry of the presidency and the transfer of power. That is not the same, as you said, Clay, sorry. With fucking doing a minstrel show. That's different. So
I mean, Snoop basically called it a minstrel show. I'm paraphrasing here.
And
allegedly, reportedly in 2017.
And no, and it very much gave that. It very much gave minstrel show. It very much gave that.
And going back to Snoop's comment about jigaboos, you have to then look at Snoop sideways. So now that you said that back in 2017 and you made the decision that you made this week, I'm a longtime Snoop fan, okay? But you have to ask, okay, so now Snoop, you made this decision. So what does that make you? Or did you have a change of heart somewhere? Or does it not apply to you because you're Snoop Dogg? That's the main part here. One of several main parts.
And I love Snoop. Everybody knows I love Snoop.
You're a West Coast girl. Yeah,
I'm a West Coast girl. Every time Snoop is, I go to Snoop's concerts 100% of the time if I get the opportunity to. So it is, and I want to say like, wow, Snoop's music did it. I sing every profane word under the sun, but I don't do it next to no motherfucking Klan. I ain't doing it at a Klan rally with MAGA hats surrounding me. I'm doing it with Black people and Mexicans, because that's what you get in LA. So it's intellectually dishonest. It's cowardice. It's not being a political maverick. It's trying to sow confusion. It's drawing false equivalents, and it's pathetic. If you want to earn your money like that, that's how you want to earn your money. That's cool. There are consequences to that. There's no consequence to Biden or to Obama for being decent during the peaceful transfer of power or at a funeral. Neither one of them are going to run for president again. Okay? So they can do that and go on about their business. But these people are entertainers who are going to come to us and say, watch my shit, buy my pro. And now
Can I tell you something, Reese? Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I bet you a lot that if Kamala Harris would have won and Kamala Harris would have invited Carrie Underwood to sing, I bet you she would have said no.
Yeah.
I have no proof of that. I'm just just thinking.
She would be number 3,000
no.
on the list. But to be fair, I believe that Nelly would have performed for Kamala. I believe that Soulja Boy, Snoop. I don't think that it was this big grand political gesture, which is why I would respect a little bit more if they kept it real like Soulja Boy did and say, I got bills to pay. I don't really give a fuck. Whoever paying, tip drill. I ain't mad at that. But don't gaslight and say, well, it's for respect for the office of the presidency, which Donald Trump doesn't even have that. He just pardoned 1,500 people that violated respect for the presidency when they tried to stop the certification of the presidency. So don't say fucking respect for the presidency. Don't gaslight. Don't say, well, I don't know. What you mean he racist? Because you apparently have been in the fucking sand for the past 20 years. Just say that you wanted that money.
And I said this, that he also brought in the crack cocaine disparities. And that didn't even come from the crime reform bill. That came from the 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act. But just trying to get into this world, like it's like he said, oh, well, Biden, he kind of alluded that Biden was racist because of the crack cocaine disparity from the 94 crime reform bill. That wasn't under the crime reform bill. That's
the thing right there. I don't know what information Nelly had, but it was not a surprise to hear him and others go to that 1994 crime bill. It's no surprise that that's the first thing that they go to. Also, Charlamagne the God, he is not a political maverick at all. He has a big platform, yes, but a political maverick. Also, Trump doesn't have any respect for the office because, like Mrs. Colbert said, this dude pardoned every last one of the rioters from that January 6, 2021 attack at the Capitol. And that's my whole point that I said in another video. I've been saying it off and on. No, it's not that my side didn't win. It's not that at all. It's just the fact that when you look at not only how he acted the first time he was in office, and I'm talking about Trump, how he acted when he was out of office, America decided that this is the direction that they wanted to go. Never mind all of that, but specifically tried to overthrow your own government. Tried to overturn the results of an election that you lost. Quite frankly, I don't think I ever will accept that on a personal level, just because that sort of behavior, it wouldn't be tolerated from anybody else. But apparently it would be tolerated for Trump, right? I digress. But anyway, overall, with Trump being back in office, it's going to be more of the same. Cats like Charlamagne the God and Stephen A. Smith, they're going to continue to have smoke for the Democrats because that's all they know. They're not going to have any smoke for the Republicans. And if we do, it probably won't be made public, that's for sure. But I ain't surprised. And lastly, getting back to the whole thing about Snoop, Rick Ross, Nelly, and Soulja Boy, do I think those guys should be canceled? I'm not going to sit here and advocate that guys on that level be canceled. I'm not going to advocate that they don't have any ways to make money and provide for themselves and their families. So I'm not going to get on the cancellation train. But for the decisions that they made, whatever repercussions that come their way after the fact, they're going to have to deal with that. They're going to have to account for the decisions that they made. It is what it is. They're grown-ass people. They're already being held accountable because of videos like this and other videos that are being done. I mean, that's the talk of the week right here. It is what it is, man. And on that note, I am about to close the video. And of course, if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit the like button and drop some comments. And let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about my thoughts, etc., etc. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And remember, the power of the mind is valuable.